Hi everybody, it's Chris here from the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Just to let you know, as always, this podcast is now part of the 90-Minute Football Network and proudly sponsored by www.pt-4-u.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel and podcast. And we are here with a preview of Newcastle United versus Liverpool. I'll be hosting tonight. It's me, Mark, and I am joined by Iain. Good evening, Iain. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Thanks.
Good. And our very own Clinton Baptiste is in the house today again with us. Psychic Scott is here. All of these predictions are going very, very well. Scott, have you got another one lined up for tonight?
It'll probably come crashing down in flames tonight, but yes, I do. How are you doing?
Well, very good, very good. And Jack is with us, a face we haven't seen for a little while. He's been far too busy living his best life, but good to see you, Jack. How's things?
Nice to see you, mate. It's all good. How's everything with you?
Spot on. I mean, what's not to love at the minute about Newcastle United with the way things are going? You know, we're flying high in the just about. I think we're still in the top half of the table at the moment. You know, we've got a fantastic home record coming up against a team that has got an equally good recent result record at the moment as well in Liverpool, who are pushing at the top of the league in a title fight with Man City. So it's going to be a bit of a tricky game at the weekend. What's your thoughts, Iain? How do you see it going?
It's obviously Liverpool are just a different class from them and City, just absolute different class in the league at the minute. I think it'll be a very, very tricky game. Obviously, they've just came back from 2-0 win against Villarreal last night. Played a full strength squad. I would hope that they may rest one or two, but even resting one or two, they've still got an unbelievable squad. So obviously we're on the back of 6 straight wins. I would like to see we put up a fight and maybe throw a spanner in the works of their Premier League run, though. So I think Eddie Howe will have them well drilled again. It should make for a decent game.
Yeah, you would certainly hope that being in action in midweek in Europe would have a little bit of effect on them. But as we saw in their last league game, they've got a bit of reinforcement on the bench that they can bring onto the pitch. Obviously against Everton, they made a number of changes that resulted in them winning that game, Scott. And could you see some of those fringe players coming in and doing a job?
I think I could. I think they'll still field a pretty strong squad. I mean, there's still a Premier League title to go for. They're still going for the quadruple. So, I mean, you can rest players. They're not safe in the Champions League. I still think, you know, going away to Villarreal is still a very tough game. Was it Villarreal? Yeah, Villarreal, yeah. Wasn't it? I think it's going to be tough for them. Obviously, they've got that 2-0 goal advantage, but anything can happen when you're traveling through Europe, like we all know. So I think, you know, we saw when we played Leicester and they had that midweek game that they fielded some of the same players and they were a little bit tired, a little bit lethargic, and you could tell in the game. But like Iain said, Liverpool are just different gravy, aren't they? They're just, their bench probably costs more than our entire squad does. So it's something we're going to aspire to be in the future. But I think maybe it's one game too far off here for us in terms of our home results.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be a tricky game, and probably the biggest test that we've faced in the last few weeks. When you look at the run of form that we've gone on, there was probably a couple of games in there where you thought we might slip up and, you know, would be lucky to scrape through a point. I know a lot of us spoke about the 3 games that we had in wanting to take maybe 4 points from it, and lo and behold, we went and won all 3. So but we are coming up against another form team that's going to be in there, and we're also coming up against our own old friend Mike Dean, who refereed the game at Anfield, where we had some dubious decisions. He's on VAR this time, and we've got Andre Mariner as the referee. Jack, do you see it being a bit of a quiet game for the officials, or do you see them having an impact on this game like they did the away fixture?
I think it wouldn't really surprise me if we seen another VAR mess up, something between like the Ryan Fraser Man City penalty incident. We've been pretty quiet with VAR the last few games on this run. Off the top of my head, unless there's something that stands out that anybody else can point out, but the controversy's been pretty quiet on our end. A lot of like the decisions, such as like the Chris Wood penalty against Wolves, has actually gone our way. I mean, there's the Chelsea game, which an elbow is always up for debate. But yeah, I think with the standard of Premier League referees now, I think whenever you see the club account come out and they post Andre Mariner as the referee, and everybody's like, "Oh, not Andre Mariner." I think the standard of referees, it doesn't matter who you get. A lot of them are terrible. Let's be honest. Like whoever you get, they've all got a mistake in them. And I think John Moss has just come out today and said that he's also going to be retiring with Mike Dean at the end of the season. So maybe it's a time for a new breed of referees to hopefully come in. I think with the introduction of VAR, these sort of referees I think they're seeing the end of their careers as well. And the game's changing, the referees are changing, but I think with this game coming up, we can only rely on ourselves and make our own fortune with it. We can't just rely on whether the referee's going to pull out the wrong decision or the right decision. I think if we just put the game and get the tactics right, a draw at best would be a great result for us.
I think that's probably realistically where most Newcastle fans are looking at the moment is being at our best, and a win would be wonderful, but a draw is probably the best we could hope for. But hey, we've had a few games in recent weeks where we've thought that way, and we've came away with a result through hard work, determination, and that little bit of luck. So let's see what we come away with at the weekend. So we are going in against Liverpool on Saturday at 12:30, the early kickoff live on BT. Another sellout at St James's Park. Iain, you're going to be there, and you're going to be seeing pretty much, I would imagine, the same team that we've seen over the weekend, with Ryan Fraser, Trippier and Callum Wilson still being unavailable for selection. We did see a number of changes at the weekend, though, a couple of surprises. Can you see Eddie sticking with those surprises, or do you see some of the more familiar names coming back into the starting lineup?
Yeah, I think you'll go probably the lineups that were sort of the three home games. I think, no disrespect to Norwich, but obviously the not as good quality as the three teams that you came up against at home. So I think you had a sort of more leeway to play around with it. I didn't, to be honest, I was listening on Monday night. I didn't expect not to see Dwight Gale. I thought he might have played him. And I think it was a little bit harsh on Miggy as well, especially his performance against Palace. I thought sort of the three games that he's came in while Fraser's been out, I think he's been, you can say, a massive improvement. And obviously he got that goal against Palace. But I think he'll probably revert back to, like you say, the team that he had in those home games. And obviously, like I say, you're waiting just to have the quality of the likes of Trippier and Callum Wilson back. Even Ryan Fraser, because I think he's been massively improved under Eddie Howe. But yeah, definitely for me, he'll go back to the sort of the more familiar team that he's had. Maybe one or two changes based on their performances, but I think, like I say, Liverpool, you want your best 11 available. Because, like I say, no disrespect to Norwich, but they're a completely different animal to what Norwich were.
What do you see happening with the team, Scott?
I think if players are fit, like what Iain said, you go back to what you know, really. I think Fabian Schär will come back in if he's fit. And I don't think he was injured. I don't remember him picking up a knock or anything last game. He was just
on the
rested,
bench,
so
yeah, he must have been fit enough to feature at some point.
I think also with the sheer height that Liverpool have got at the back with Van Dijk, you've got to play Chris Wood. Like, he's the only person you can really start up front, because I don't think St. Maximin would be able to do much up there. Joe Linton may be able to do a job, but you want him in the middle. You want him pretty much stuck to Thiago if he plays, because I think he can do a job on him and he'll silence him throughout the game. Hopefully he can. And I think we might see Kieran Trippier on the bench. I think you might, just to spur the team on. I know he was aiming to come back from Norwich, so I know we'll know a lot more tomorrow in his press conference. But I'd like to see maybe it's just him on the bench in the squad, just to pick the team up even more. I mean, I don't know how much higher they can get. Like, they're on cloud 9 now, but it would be good to see if he is back, if he is ready. They said he was ahead of schedule, so we'll see what happens.
Do you risk him if he is ready, or do you just make
No,
sure
not
he's
at all.
right?
Put him on the bench and it'll bring everyone up. The whole stadium will be buzzing just for the fact he's on the bench. The chants will start and whatever it is, and you don't even have to use him. It just that in the back of your mind to know that he's there to come on is enough for some.
To bring him on the 90th minute if we've got a free kick edge of the box. If it's 0-0 and he's not come on, there's a free kick edge of the box. I think I'll take the chance on him there.
Bring him on his crutches, just wheel him out,
yeah.
put him on that pitch. So
Like
Jack,
I did with Tim Krul with a penalty kick out.
Yeah.
So Jack, if we were to let's raise your profile up. Let's make you manager of Newcastle United for Saturday. How do you go about winning this game or getting a result?
I think you've just got to sort of look at the last 2 games Liverpool have played this week. I think Villarreal and Everton definitely more so look to frustrate Liverpool. I don't really want to see us diving like Gordon was the other weekend, but you could see that it sort of sparked a few of the Liverpool players where they were sitting deep, and any opportunity and any time any of the players got touched, they went straight down. I'd quite like to see that sort of dirty side of us. We're not going to be able to compete with them on a footballing level yet. Hopefully in a few years' time we can sort of compete, but I think we're going to be a bit more realistic on how we're going to approach a game. I don't really want to see us stick to the same formation like we did against Spurs and get absolutely walked through. I think this might be the game that we see the return of a back 3. Lascelles maybe stays in that centre with Dan Burn to the left and Shah to the right. Would you leave Kraft as a right wing back, or would you maybe put Murphy in so you've got a bit more pace and a bit more of an attacking front on the flanks? And obviously Matt Target just keeps his spot. And then, to be honest, it sounds very Steve Bruce of me, but under Eddie Howe, I don't think we're going to see us at the same playing style. But I'd like to see maybe a 5-3-2 with Maxi and Chris Wood up top. So you've got Chris Wood who can win the aerial battles, and Maxi just playing that sort of number 10 role, just playing off him, and then just flood the midfield with Bruno, Shelby, Joe Linton, just because Liverpool's centre midfield with Thiago at the minute, the guy's an absolute baller.
Yeah.
And if he controls the game, then we'll just be sat watching him spray balls about. So yeah, whack Big Joe on him, put a few challenges in, frustrate them a little bit, and then look to counter-attack them on the flanks with Maxi up top as well.
It's that midfield that scares me as well. What they're capable of doing, whether it's keeping the ball, moving it quickly. They just seem to have everything in there. I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, talking about potentially having those 2 wing backs. Obviously, Liverpool like to really utilise their 2 wing backs getting forward, and whether or not we can have enough to counteract that and get in behind it, because they do like to leave space in behind. Both Robertson and down their left, and then we know obviously Trent on the right. They love to get right up front and push up, and even at times they're kind of playing as inside right and inside left in those kinds of positions. So if we can utilize a bit of pace, a bit of quick break and get into those spaces in behind, that's maybe where we've got an opportunity to hit them and cause them some issues. But we're certainly going to have to be at our best to do that. We're going into the game where we haven't got a result in our last 10 against Liverpool. So it's it's a crazy situation to be in. So we've lost 6 and drawn 4 within that last time. You got to go back to December 2015, the last time that we won a 2-0 home win.
Was that Pardew's first game?
No,
Or was
2015.
Steve
It would have
McLaren,
been
wasn't
Steve
it?
McLaren.
Oh, of course, yeah, man.
Yeah. So and
I think of the 3-0. I think it was a 3-0 when Pardew's first game against Liverpool.
that'll be when Jose Enrique went in goal.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was our last home victory against Liverpool. So yeah, Steve McLaren was the manager. Jurgen Klopp was the Liverpool manager at the time, and it took 2 Liverpool players, as it happens, looking at that, to score our goals. Obviously, Wijnaldum was playing for us at the time and scored a very late goal, 90th minute. But when you
it's
look
where
at
he
that,
dinked it over, wasn't it? He dinked it
yeah,
over the keeper's leg.
So, but Paul Dummett features there at left back for Newcastle United and is still in the Newcastle United squad.
Wow.
Would you imagine that? 2015. I would imagine he's probably the only player from around about that time that would still be anywhere near the squad. And then you look across at the Liverpool team, and again, even then, where they weren't, kind of at their brilliant best, they still had a heck of a team. When you look at some of those names, obviously Bobby Firmino still playing for them, James Milner still there. Albeit Firmino's injured and Milner's been a bit of a bit part player at the moment. So it's quite a game to go back to. 2015, our last victory. So when you think of that, it doesn't fill you with great amounts of confidence going into Saturday. And if we look at our last 5 fixtures against Liverpool, in the most recent, again, a bit of hope there, because we have or hope, as we like to say, with a couple of draws chucked in there, but a lot of 3-1 defeats, which targets a bit of a high scoring game. We always are likely to were likely to concede a lot of goals. So that those recent results, the run of form that Liverpool are on, we're on a decent run of form as well, but you would just think the odds and history are maybe somewhat against us. But we're going to go into it on Saturday. We're full of confidence. We're full of hope. You're going to have the ground is full. As we said, it's a sellout. Everybody's going to be well up for it. Iain, what's your prediction? What are you going for?
I'm going. I think because of the recent run that we've been on and the confidence that we've got, I'm going to go for an optimistic 2-2 draw. I don't think we've got enough to win, but I think we'll have enough to disrupt them. It's a bit. I was trying to see before we came on if any Newcastle managers ever won 7 home games in a row. I don't know if it's ever happened, so someone will be able to put in the comments whether it has or not. But I think Liverpool
seem to remember Monday night saying it had been done,
right?
But you've got to go way back.
Way back. I think
definitely Keegan definitely did it in the season we won the first division, because we won 11. That was our first 11 games in that one, and I think we probably would have been seven home games. So that would be my strong guess. But then you're probably looking at Bobby, which was definitely the last one to win 6.
6, yeah,
which probably around about that time.
But I think Liverpool probably just that little bit too much quality to get 3 points. So optimistic, I'd say 2-2 draw. Taking the little in as well for his first game, so I'm really excited about that. So hopefully there'll at least be some goals. And I'm sure War Flags were planning on having their flags up into level 7 as well. Yep. So it should make for an amazing atmosphere, and I think that's hopefully what can disrupt Liverpool and we'll come away with a point. I'd be absolutely buzzing to take a point off a team the calibre of Liverpool.
Do you think we'll see the return of the massive surfer flag for this game? I think it's been put away for a while. I think we always seem to get it out. I think we definitely had it out that last game Rafa played, yeah.
We had it out maybe 2 or 3 home games ago. It was the first game when they put the flags into the East Stand and the Leazers. When they did that, we had the big surfer flag in the Gallowgate because all the flags were elsewhere in the ground.
Yeah.
So we had the big one in there. So definitely for that. But Jack, what are you going? What you saying?
I'm not as optimistic as Iain, but I think it wouldn't surprise me if we probably got a goal. I couldn't tell you what minute, but I'm sure Scott will tell us when we'll score. But I can see us maybe going ahead first with the atmosphere. A very similar game to the Spurs game, at the first game after the takeover, where we get a bit of an early goal, but I think then Liverpool will just come back. We'll see maybe a 2-1. It wouldn't surprise me if it was somebody off the bench coming and settled the score with it, maybe a Divock Origi. I mean, Liverpool have pretty much been. Well, Jurgen Klopp started the narrative of, we're playing too many games, even though they should be used to it by now. I know there was a video of Virgil van Dijk who was in an interview after the Villarreal match, and he laughed that they have to go to Newcastle 12:30 on a Saturday. So maybe that mentality is also getting into the players' heads as well. They've got a lot more to lose than we have. It's one of them where the nerves could get to them, energy levels could it get to them. And that's probably going to be the only miracle if we come out with anything. But yeah, I think we can't be too disappointed if it's a 2-1 to Liverpool.
Yeah, I think I'm of a similar mindset. I think Klopp's lucky it's not a 5:30 kickoff on Saturday night, because he would certainly be in for a very, very different atmosphere after everybody had kind of been out all day on Saturday and getting themselves lubed up, ready for the game, and the atmosphere is always tasty. But I dare say everybody will be bang up for it. As you mentioned, War Flags have been doing fantastic kind of for the atmosphere. So that's going to get really everybody up and going. The opportunity for a little bit of payback in, to boost their title race would be lovely. Heart and head for me, I think, I'd love to get a result, but the head's kind of bringing us down to earth, and I'm probably of a similar opinion to you, Jack. I think it'll probably be a little bit tighter. Maybe a 1-0 win to Liverpool, or if there is a goal, maybe a 2-1 to Liverpool. But I just, as good as we've been playing and the results we've been getting, I think this is maybe the time that it comes to bite with, unfortunately. But none of this matters, because the only person that does know what is going to happen is, as I said, our psychic Scott, the man that can't get any scores wrong at the minute. So no pressure whatsoever, Scott.
No.
We don't want to put any on you. But what is Saturday's result going to be?
Well, I've checked my almanac sporting history book that I got from the future, and I'm actually going to be a bit more optimistic. I'm going for a 1-0 win. I reckon we'll nick it. I think we'll absolutely frustrate the hell out of them, and then around the hour mark we're going to nick a goal. And then we'll just shut up shop and we'll not break them down. I think it'll be all Liverpool, and I think it'll be a horrible game to watch from a Newcastle side of things, but I reckon we'll do enough to fend them off. It'll be balls to the wall defending, and then Maxi will break and he'll set through Chris Wood and he'll tap one in. Our mark.
Has Liverpool has Liverpool not scored at all this season in any game?
They got beat 1-0 off Leicester.
Oh, well,
that was the last league. That was the last league game they lost, and they got beat 1-0 off Inter. That was the last game they lost. So I'm going for a 1-0 defeat, 1-0 win to Newcastle.
They haven't scored.
They haven't conceded many goals either.
No.
When you look at their kind of form and results, obviously having Virgil van Dijk at the back certainly helps with that. Matip's come back in as well and has been playing very, very well. So we are going to have to, be at our best to try and get something, which is why I think maybe a tighter game. But Scott, if that one comes up, you're going to be burnt at the stake for witchcraft.
if it's 0-0 at 55 minutes, my Twitter's going to explode.
Everybody will be hoping for a signal within the ground. Get on the next goal scorer on the hour.
I'll get the 4G on.
But there we have it. Some pessimism, some optimistic score lines, but we're all hoping for a good game and looking to somehow pull a result out of the bag yet again for this one. We've all got faith in Eddie. We've got faith in the team that they're certainly going to give it their best try. We look forward to Eddie's press conference tomorrow morning, where we'll find out a little bit more about what the team is going to be looking like. If there's any new injury news or returns, maybe that trickier one could be on. Another psychic insight from the Gallowgateshots team. But you will see much more from us in the coming days. So we've got a live going on on Thursday night that you'll be able to catch up with Chris and Decker, looking at Eddie's tenure at the moment. Extra Time is back on Friday night with Laura and our very own Roger. And then, of course, I'll be back with the other three on Monday night for the Always Smiling Faces podcast. And no doubt over the weekend, we'll have a match review and a look back at whatever happened on Saturday and whether or not Scott has done it again. But as ever, thank you for watching.
No
thank you for listening. If you want to become a member of the YouTube channel, click that little button down below. It costs as little as how much, Scott?
It's $2.99 a month.
$2.99 a month. I mean, what can you buy for £3 a month these days?
Who
Not
hasn't
a lot.
got $2.99?
Who hasn't got $2.99? So
I think
click
Freddo's
that
at
button.
that price now, aren't they? So
Well, that's it. Inflation. So yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and if you do fancy becoming a member, go and do that. It helps us do great things like looking at our faces in fabulous 4K Ultra HD definition. Beautiful. But thank you for joining. Let's hope our scorelines do come back to fruition. Scott's particularly, but we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Good night.